There are seasons in your life when everything becomes quiet in a way that feels unfamiliar. The phone stops ringing as much. Invitations slow down. Conversations feel surface level or strained. People who once understood you begin to drift or misunderstand you completely. At first, it can feel like rejection. It can feel like loss. It can even feel like punishment. But what if it is none of those things? What if it is divine strategy? When God isolates you, it is not to harm you. It is to prepare you. Throughout Scripture, God consistently separates before he elevates. Bible shows this pattern again and again. Before purpose is revealed publicly, identity is refined privately. Isolation is uncomfortable because it strips away distractions. It removes the noise of opinions, expectations, and outside validation. In the crowd, it is easy to perform. In isolation, you are forced to confront who you really are. Your fears surface. Your insecurities become louder. The questions you've been avoiding suddenly demand answers. But this is where transformation begins. God cannot fill hands that are clinging to what he is trying to remove. He cannot speak clearly when your life is crowded with voices that contradict his. Think about how often clarity comes in stillness. Not in chaos. Not in busyness. Stillness. When God pulls you aside, he is creating an environment where you can finally hear him without interference. The separation is intentional. The loneliness has purpose. The silence is not empty, it is sacred. Many people mistake the season and try to escape it. They rush back into relationships, distractions, or habits just to avoid feeling alone. But running from isolation can delay revelation. There are things God will only tell you in private. Instructions that are too sensitive to be shared prematurely. Directions that others might discourage because they cannot see what you see. If he spoke certain plans over your life in front of everyone, doubt would attack them before they had a chance to grow. So he whispers them to you first. In isolation, your spiritual hearing becomes sharper. Your discernment strengthens. You begin to notice patterns, warnings, and confirmations that once went over your head. Isolation also exposes attachments. It reveals who was assigned to your destiny and who was only present for a season. When God starts removing people, it can feel harsh. But not everyone can go where you are going. Some connections are comfortable but limiting. Some relationships are familiar but spiritually draining. If he allowed them to stay, they would slow down what he is trying to accelerate. Separation is protection disguised as loss. You may have noticed that during the season, your tolerance has changed. Conversations that once entertained you now exhaust you. Environments that once felt normal now feel heavy. This is not arrogance. It is growth. God is recalibrating your spirit. He is increasing your sensitivity so you can recognize what aligns with your calling and what doesn't. Isolation becomes the training ground where your standards shift and your identity solidifies. In isolation, discipline is developed. Without constant affirmation from others, you learn to validate yourself through obedience. Without applause, you learn to move by conviction. Without constant company, you learn to sit with your thoughts and refine them. This is where emotional maturity is built. This is where self-awareness deepens. This is where you stop depending on people to define you and start understanding who God says you are. There is also protection in isolation. Sometimes God removes you from spaces because danger is forming that you cannot yet see. He sees conversations behind closed doors. He sees intentions hidden behind smiles. He sees traps set quietly in the background. When he isolates you, he may be pulling you out before something collapses. What feels like exclusion may actually be divine security. The chosen often walk through seasons of solitude before stepping into visibility. It is in private that character is shaped. It is in hidden places that strength is built. Public success without private preparation leads to destruction. So God slows you down. He reduces distractions. He allows you to feel the weight of being alone so you can become comfortable standing alone when necessary. You may question why others seem surrounded by support while you are walking this road quietly. But comparison will blind you to the customization of your journey. Your assignment is different. Your capacity is different. Your calling requires a level of resilience that can only be forged in solitude. Isolation stretches you. It teaches you to trust God without constant signs. It trains you to move even when you don't feel understood. During this season, you might also experience heightened awareness. Dreams become clearer. Intuition becomes stronger. Patterns become obvious. This is because distractions have been reduced. Your spiritual senses are no longer overwhelmed by constant external input. You are beginning to see through situations rather than just react to them. Isolation is not abandonment. It is alignment. It is the space between who you were and who you are becoming. It is the hallway between doors. And hallways are not meant to be permanent, but they are necessary for transition. The discomfort you feel is evidence of growth. The quiet you experience is evidence of preparation. The separation you are walking through is evidence that something sacred is forming in the unseen. The shift you've been feeling is not random. It is not your imagination. It is not mood swings, bad luck, or coincidence stacking up all at once. There is a spiritual recalibration happening beneath the surface of your life. Things that once felt stable are starting to feel uncertain. People you trusted are behaving differently. Opportunities are closing without explanation. At the same time, new thoughts, new desires, and new levels of awareness are rising inside you. This tension between endings and beginnings is not chaos. It is preparation. When God prepares you for elevation, He first disrupts your comfort. Comfort can become a cage when you outgrow it. What once fit you perfectly can start to feel tight and restrictive. You may notice that routines you once enjoyed now feel draining. Conversations that once excited you now feel repetitive. Goals that once motivated you now feel too small. This is not ingratitude. It is growth pressing against limitation. Preparation often looks like loss before it looks like gain. Doors close because you are no longer meant to walk through them. Relationships shift because alignment has changed. Plans fall apart because they were too small for where you are headed. It can feel confusing because you cannot yet see what is replacing what is leaving. But absence is making room for assignment. Throughout the Bible, preparation seasons rarely looked glamorous. They looked like waiting. They looked like wandering. They looked like being misunderstood or overlooked. Yet those hidden seasons were building endurance, wisdom, and character. Preparation is not about punishment. It is about capacity. God will not place you in a position that your character cannot sustain. You may feel stretched right now. Emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Situations are demanding more patience than you thought you had. Challenges are forcing you to think deeper and respond wiser. You are being trained to handle pressure without panic. Preparation increases your tolerance for responsibility. It strengthens your ability to stay steady when everything around you is shifting. The shift also affects your perception. You are starting to see people clearly. Red flags you once ignored are now obvious. Patterns that once confused you now make sense. Discernment is sharpening because you cannot afford to be distracted where you are going. Preparation includes revelation. God exposes what you need to see before the next level requires sharper judgment. Sometimes preparation feels like delay. You pray for movement, but everything slows down. You ask for answers, and silence stretches longer than expected. But delay is not denial. It is development. If something arrived too early, it could overwhelm you. If influence came before humility was rooted, pride could destroy it. Timing protects you from premature exposure. You may also notice that your desires are changing. What once impressed you no longer satisfies you. What once intimidated you no longer scares you the same way. Your appetite is evolving. That evolution is evidence of internal growth. Preparation reshapes what you value. It aligns your heart with your assignment. The shift can feel lonely because not everyone understands it. When you outgrow certain conversations, you may feel isolated in rooms that once felt comfortable. When your focus changes, people who prefer familiarity may resist your transformation. But growth will always create separation from environments that cannot sustain it. Preparation demands pruning. You might be questioning yourself during this time. Wondering if you are overthinking. Wondering if you are making the right decisions. Wondering why everything feels different. But shifts are rarely loud. They are subtle at first. A quiet nudge. A persistent thought. An inner restlessness that refuses to go away. That restlessness is divine dissatisfaction. It signals that you are being repositioned. Preparation also includes strengthening your faith. When visible evidence is limited, belief must deepen. You are learning to trust without constant confirmation. You are learning to move without applause. You are learning to remain disciplined without immediate reward. These qualities are necessary for where you are headed. There is also a refining happening within you. Old insecurities are surfacing not to shame you, but to be healed. Past wounds are being revisited not to hurt you, but to remove their influence over your future decisions. Preparation includes healing because unhealed pain can sabotage new opportunities. You may feel like you are in between versions of yourself. Not who you used to be, but not fully who you are becoming. This in-between space is sacred. It is uncomfortable because identity is being upgraded. You are shedding mindsets that once defined you. You are releasing habits that once controlled you. You are stepping into awareness that requires greater responsibility. The shift you feel is also strategic. Certain distractions are being removed so your focus can sharpen. Certain comforts are being disrupted so your resilience can strengthen. Certain attachments are being challenged so your dependence can shift from people to God. Preparation restructures your foundation. You are not falling apart. You are being rebuilt. You are not losing direction. You are being redirected. The confusion you feel is temporary, but the transformation happening underneath it is permanent. Every closed door is intentional. Every uncomfortable conversation is revealing. Every delay is developing something you will need. The shift is not random. It is alignment in progress. It is preparation unfolding in real time. It is evidence that your life is being repositioned for something that requires more strength, more discernment, and more faith than ever before. This message is not casual. It is not entertainment. It is not something you stumbled upon by accident. When you are chosen, communication from God often comes with urgency. A warning and a confirmation can exist in the same breath. One reassures you that you are on the right path. The other alerts you that something requires your attention immediately. If you felt a pull to watch this alone, that pull was intentional. Some revelations are too personal to be filtered through other people's opinions. A personal warning does not always mean danger in the dramatic sense. Sometimes it is about subtle shifts. Subtle compromises. Small distractions that look harmless but slowly redirect your focus. The chosen are often targeted not because they are weak, but because they carry weight. When your life has purpose attached to it, resistance increases. Distraction becomes strategic. Temptation becomes tailored. The warning is not meant to create fear. It is meant to sharpen awareness. There are moments when God highlights patterns you have been ignoring. Repeated frustrations. Cycles that keep resurfacing. Relationships that drain more than they deposit. Habits that feel small but accumulate consequences. A warning is mercy in advance. It is protection before damage becomes visible. Ignoring it can delay your progress. Heeding it can preserve your peace. Confirmation, on the other hand, stabilizes you. It reassures you that the path you are sensing is not imagination. That inner knowing you cannot explain to others is validated. When you are chosen, you often feel different before you understand why. You may have always sensed that your life would not follow a typical pattern. Confirmation reminds you that the discomfort of being different is connected to assignment. The Bible shows that chosen individuals often received warnings before major transitions. Not to frighten them, but to prepare them. Preparation reduces shock. It increases readiness. When you know something is shifting, you respond with intention instead of panic. A warning invites you to tighten your discipline, to guard your focus, to be selective with your energy. This message may be highlighting people around you. Not in a paranoid way, but in a perceptive way. You are being encouraged to observe, not react. To notice who celebrates you and who competes with you silently. To discern who supports your growth and who subtly resists it. The chosen cannot afford careless trust. Discernment is not suspicion, it is wisdom refined by experience. There may also be a warning about your own mindset. Self-doubt can be as limiting as external opposition. If you consistently question your worth, you may shrink in moments that require boldness. If you constantly replay past failures, you may hesitate when new doors open. The warning could be about internal narratives that no longer align with who you are becoming. You cannot step into expansion while clinging to a diminished self-image. At the same time, confirmation is reminding you that you are not alone in this process. The isolation you feel is not abandonment. It is intentional focus. The struggles you face are not evidence of failure. They are evidence of refinement. Confirmation strengthens your endurance. It tells you that the resistance you feel is connected to the significance of your calling. You may be sensing urgency in your spirit. A feeling that time is important. That certain decisions cannot be postponed. Warnings often carry timing within them. Procrastination can be costly when destiny is involved. This does not mean rushing blindly. It means being obedient when clarity comes. Delayed obedience can create unnecessary detours. There is also a warning about distractions disguised as opportunities. Not every open door is meant for you. Not every invitation aligns with your purpose. Sometimes the enemy does not block your path, he crowds it with alternatives. Confirmation helps you recognize what resonates deeply versus what simply looks appealing on the surface. This message may also be a reminder to protect your peace. Emotional turbulence can cloud judgment. If certain environments consistently agitate your spirit, that agitation is information. If certain conversations leave you drained, that depletion is a signal. The chosen must learn to prioritize alignment over approval. You are being called to elevate your standards. In relationships. In discipline. In focus. The warning is about settling beneath your potential. The confirmation is that you are capable of more than you have allowed yourself to believe. Growth requires separation from mediocrity. It requires courage to walk away from what is familiar but limiting. There may be a financial, relational, or spiritual decision ahead that requires discernment. The warning encourages patience. The confirmation encourages confidence. Together, they create balance. You are not being told to fear the future. You are being told to prepare for it with awareness. Your sensitivity right now is not weakness. It is sharpening. You are noticing things others overlook. You are feeling shifts others dismiss. That heightened awareness is necessary for where you are headed. Ignoring it would be easier, but responding to it will be wiser. This is personal because your assignment is personal. The warning is tailored. The confirmation is customized. You are not being compared to anyone else's journey. You are being guided according to your specific path. Listen closely. Observe carefully. Move intentionally. Guard your energy. Trust the inner conviction that keeps repeating itself even when logic tries to silence it.